Hello, my fierce art family. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is Elizabeth, and for this video, we are going in depth with this Van Gogh 12+3 pans pocket box. I got this on an auction. So this is my second-hand palette, which I will be sharing with you how I cleaned this palette and how I painted this artwork and so much more. So without further ado, let's get started. Since I have been finding a lot of art materials that are pre-loved or secondhand, I feel like I wanted to share it with you guys so we don't just buy new items. We also check out the pre-loved market and see what other people let go, because most of the time we will find beautiful treasures. This is a Van Gogh pocket box, the 12+3 pans. I already have the 24 watercolor sets and a 10 set of their tubes. I also shared a video of some vintage watercolor tubes that I found. This time, I saw this one. I have a story about this which I will tell you later on, and that is also the reason why I was motivated to bid for this one, and I got lucky and bought it on somewhat a good price. Let's unwrap it. The seller wrapped it very nicely. There's several items I bought from the same seller, which you will see on some other videos. Those are pens, colored pencils rather, and then there's a little bit of oil paints and acrylic paint. I know that a lot of you are familiar about this one, and for those of you who are tuning in because you have seen or heard good reviews about this palette, then I am going to help you also, because I am like that too. When I research for a product, I watch all of the possible videos I could find. This is how the back looks like. It's nice that the seller was able to keep this one. Would be helpful when I stack them on my storage. So here it says that it's a 12+3 pans from Royalty Lands, of course. Here are the color codes, and then these are the free colors that they say they have in here, because the usual 12 pan set are of course just 12 pans, but only this basic set has 3 more, and it has a brush inside also. This is the original packaging. They have new packagings now. This is the one that you might be finding pretty much more common, and the sleeve goes like this. And we see some signs of use in here. That's not a problem, because you know that I always love to clean my art materials anyway. So there's like some blue color in here, but not a problem. I can clean that, and I will be sharing with you right away once this is clean. I just normally brush it with toothbrush and a dishwashing liquid. So we have the logo over here, the new logo of Van Gogh. It says the quality brand, and then you press this part right here so it opens, and as you see, this is very much used. Oh, but this will be an easy fix. I will just drop water in there and then goes like that. So that's how this one looks like, but I'm gonna clean it. And so this mixing part is also well loved. I do not normally use the mixing part that comes on any palette, even on the metal tins, because I love to do my mixes on another mixing plate, which is porcelain or ceramic. But we see the brush right here, and this is a normal brush. Oh wow, the print is not faded yet. I'm surprised. I was thinking it could have been faded by now. It's a 191 series, maybe that's what they call it. Selected filament number 6, Van Gogh Royalty Lands, and it looks like this. So there is this part right here, which is a little bit more pointy. Several purposes for that is that you can easily grab the pans. Oops, now not anymore. I noticed that on the newer ones it's easy, but now maybe this had been used and whatnot, so there's like some water that went on the sides of it, so it makes it a little bit harder to grab. but you can also grab the mixing plate because it has a dent right there. So you can remove that one, and then you have more surface. So she didn't remove it. And here, then you can have more surfaces to mix and blend your colors. But nice that she did not do so. So I do not have to clean that one. All right, I am going to clean it and then go back. And we are going to, of course, swatch this one, create a sample painting, and I'll give you my verdict. And there's going to be some storytelling also. We can clean this brush first with my brush soap. Okay, so that was used, as you see. And I think I am going to also use the brush cleaner to clean the handle. And I noticed that this is not snapping back so tight, but that was the problem with the older Van Gogh brushes. I noticed I think the new ones were a little better now, but every time I use a similar brush from the Rembrandt set that I have, it always falls like that. The pans were a little difficult to remove because, as you see, through use, there will be some pigments that will go to the side. It will build up and then it will harden on the sides of it, which will make it difficult to remove. But nonetheless, I am still going to remove it so I can clean this up. I have already removed some, but the ones remaining are just so difficult to be removed. Welcome to the next day. So this had been soaking overnight. So yesterday I used the paints that went onto these hollow grooves, and I created a painting which I will share here on the screen. So on the left side was how it looked after I did the painting on the right side. And that painting is not finished yet. So I didn't want to stress myself. I just wanted to do a sketch paint. I didn't even use an expensive paper. I just used this one, but it's acid free. And this is the painting so far, wherein I only used the colors that are extra or that went in there, and then a little bit on the sides of each pants, like so. The pants I haven't cleaned yet, but I will do that as well. I used a toothbrush, which I also use when I do some splatters on watercolor paintings. And then this one, which is a dishwashing liquid. So just pour a little bit like so. I already did this last night, but I just wanted to share to you how I did it. So then I just brush it like this. So when I put the pants, it's not going to be obvious anymore because the part here on the top is already somewhat nice and clean. And I saw that also on this part there was like some pigments, but now it looks way better than it was last night or yesterday. So you can do like so also. I always clean all of my palettes. I am that person who gets more inspired when things are clean. But every artist is different. Some don't mind that their palettes or their art materials is a little bit rough or shows some signs of usage, and that's okay because we are all different. It's just, in my case, I love everything clean. So here are the half pans, and I cleaned them by wiping the sides of each of the pans and also the bottom of the pan. The reason why I did that is because it will be easy for me to put it back here, since if having lots of pigment, and a lot of them are also so sticky, and it will also be easy for me to rearrange the palette if I needed so, or if I need to fill up a palette or change a color. And here is the palette. So this is as much as I could clean it. And the front also, and at the bottom. And also this is the clean brush, and the bristle is also already dry because this is Now the next day. By the way, in my mission not to waste paint, I did a swatch card even before I created this painting yesterday, before I cleaned this palette and the half pans. So let me just put the names of the colors so we know what we have for this palette. This palette has 15 slots for half pans. It's different from the other Pocketbox that Van Gogh has. Like for example, I have here the Pocketbox Violets, which I will be featuring very soon. And it looks like this when opened. Now it has a swatch card because it's one of the new palettes. I noticed that the color of this palette is also different. This is more white and this is more of a very off-white. And every pan has this wrappers, which looks like a candy now, and easy to pull out and lift the top part. Anyways, you can see that here there are no extra slots for half pans. It just has the Van Gogh and the quality brand written on the top, unlike on this palette. And this is the only palette that has 15 slots, which is the reason why I highly recommend this one for beginners and also intermediate and even for professional artists who loves to bring a palette that's not so heavy compared to the metal cases that they can bring anywhere they go, traveling, plein air, urban sketching, to art lessons or whatnot. Alright, so now let's put each and every color inside. I'm going to put in the extra colors or the free colors. So we start with this one right here. And this is the quinacridone rose, and it's a PV19 single pigment. This next one right here is the Prussian blue, and it is a PB27. And then the last one for the free, which I'm quite happy that they have here because I always love to have a burnt umber. And this has two pigments, PR101 and PBK6. Then let's start with the basic colors. We have here on the top left corner a Chinese white PW4. I noticed that the previous owner have used this one quite a lot, but I do not usually use white even when I do the pastel colors. And I really noticed that every time I put the half pans back in their slots, it is very easy now, and I know that it will be very easy for me to also take it out from now on. And then we have this one, which is a permanent lemon yellow, a PY184. Now we have here permanent red light, one pigment as well, PR254. This next one will be ultramarine deep. Van Gogh doesn't have any other ultramarines, just the ultramarine deep in PB29, of course. And this one, a very transparent sap green composed of two pigments, PY129 and PG7. I noticed that it's quite nice to paint with this one. Here we have a yellow ochre, and it's PY42. Here we have a azo yellow medium, PY154 and P062. Next we have a Mother Lake deep, and it's a PR264. This blue is called Cerulean Blue Phthalo, and it has PB15 and PW6. So there's a white mix on this one. I do not know why they have to call it cerulean. It's more of a phthalo for me. And here we have Viridian, and it is PG7. Another earth color is this burnt sienna, PR101, and PBK11 are the pigments. And lastly, on the top right corner, we have a paint spray, and I'm happy that they put a paint spray instead of any of the blacks. This is composed of PBK6 and PB19, two pigments for their paint spray. So those are all of the 15 colors that we have in here. And I could say that it is quite a nice variation of colors. I could see this palette could work for beginners. They will be very happy with this one, and they will not be so frustrated of the way they paint or how their painting looks like, especially if they use a little bit of a better paper. And then I see that it will work with urban sketchers also, because we have some earth tones in here. And for those who love to mix their colors, it will also work so well because we have a yellow here, a magenta for the quinacridone rose, and a Prussian blue that are all single pigments right here that they can easily just mix and create several different secondary colors. For botanical artists, I see that this will work also. We have several of the reds right here. We have yellows and blues that they can mix several different green colors. We have a pre-mixed green as well, and a viridian if they wanted to. For those who paint soft paintings, mystical paintings, which I usually do, and if they do not mind mixing colors with white so they can make their own pastel-y colors, then they can do so because a Chinese white is available right here. So all of them says that the light fast rating is a 3+. That means they're very light fast colors according to this set by Van Gogh. But we can always do our own light fast testing. Going back to this sleeve cover, it claims that it has 12+3 pans for free, and that is true. And then has brush number 6, it's right there. Much space for mixing. And they mean this one, which is this mixing wells over here. And yeah, like I mentioned, even though they didn't say it here, I can also see that other people could just lift this one, remove it, and then we'll have some extra mixing surface if they needed to by doing like so. And then it says that the pans can be popped out easily, and they even showed a photo of them doing like this. Now it's easy. You have no idea how difficult it was yesterday for me to remove it. It even has some dent on there because I used some other materials just so I can remove the pans that have been sticking so hardly. And some pans are a little bit extra sticky. I do not know why. Maybe it's the binder that got separated. This mixing well is quite nice, but as I mentioned in the beginning of the video, I do not use the mixing wells that comes on the palettes because I love to use porcelains or ceramic palettes that I buy from secondhand stores, and they're not even marketed as those. I just buy the nice ones that I could see. So I needed a smaller one. I saw this one. I think this is supposed to hold those small round candles. And then here is another one, which is probably a tray for sauce. I used that one too. And then I have this one. I think this is supposed to be a soap dish. And my favorite and everybody else's favorite when they see my video is this one. And I'm not so certain what is this supposed to be, but this is, I know, it's quite heavy and quite nice. So those are the things that I used. I think I have several more that I bought and used as a mixing space instead. I even travel with this one, even though it's not so flat, but I wrap it on socks, like one sock, and it's okay. I will have another video wherein I will be live swatching each and every color of this one to this butterfly swatch card that I usually do on my swatch videos. And I'm going to share some more sample paintings. Maybe I could try to paint a live painting. And this, once again, is the painting that I have created using the extra colors that I find. So that is how it is. I think I'm still going to be finishing it, but I already wanted to show you what I have come up with just those extra paints from the bottom of the wells and also the bottom of each and every half pan. I wasn't able to finish my sunflower painting because there's not a lot of the yellows there anyway, but there's so much of the blues and all the other colors, especially this color, which is the burnt sienna. But I had so much fun painting this one because it was no stress at all. I didn't have to make it perfect. I'm not using a fancy paper, and I'm just using the extra colors, and that is what I recommend you to do if you wanted to use your paints that are on your palette, and then maybe you wanted to change the colors or use other brands, then you can use all those colors on a separate painting. And I have done that several million times. Now to the story time. I highly recommend this palette. I love this one that I have, which is a 24 pan wooden box set. And every time I go to an art store and I see people who are confused and beginners, then when they look at other brands that I think that they will just waste their money, I show them to the right path and then tell them to grab this one since it's a very good deal. You get 12 plus 3 pans here, and even the 3 colors are quite nice and they're quite useful. 2 stories. One time I just went to our store called 𝘾𝙆𝙆 in Gothenburg, and there was this kid about 10 years old, and him and his mother speak Spanish. The boy was looking at the half pans of another brand, which is always compared to Van Gogh. I know, you know what I mean. And I just couldn't help myself and ask the mom if they needed help with choosing the watercolors. And then I explained that I do a lot of art reviews and have a lot of art materials, and I teach art to kids as well. And I pointed them to the right direction, and that is to grab this set instead. And I explained how this set is, what are the colors, and then how to use it and all that. And we had a lot more conversation, and I think that that kid will be one of my private students very soon. Another story is just very recently, this like a few weeks ago, wherein I saw this girl. I was on another place. It's more of a bookstore than a hobby store or art store. So in that bookstore, there's this girl who asked help from a sales assistant there. But I am also in front of the tiny corner that they have some paints and watercolors. And they don't really have much that interests me. They have another brand, and it's not going to say it, but it's not super good. And it's quite more expensive than this one. And then you don't get as much. So when the sales lady left, I talked to the girl once again, and I helped her out, and I asked, hey, are you looking for a watercolor? Is it for a beginner? And it's like this, and what are they going to use it for? And then she said that she's looking for a gift for her husband who has the birthday, and she was holding some other art materials. So I showed her a nice book. She have this book, but it has quite a lot of things. She said that the husband is only interested in watercolors, and so I showed another book by Samantha Nilsson, and it's a 5-minute watercolor, but it's in Swedish. So I recommended that book instead, and then I told her that on another art store there is this palette, which is a much more better price and better light fastness, and the colors are very friendly for beginners and for those who wanted to paint landscapes mostly and wanted to bring it to their travels, because she also mentioned that on the weekend they're going to Iceland. That is so much fun. She bought a little bit of things from that store, and then I just waited for her outside, and we both walked to the other store that has this one, and then the paper that I usually use, because the other papers are a little bit worse than that one. So we grabbed a Fabriano 1264. I know it's not super best, but it's just way better than what she was holding. At least it has 25% cotton in that one, and I just told her how to use it properly to make the most out of it. Then this palette also, 12 plus 3, perfect. And then we saw, or I know that there are some more colors that they are already facing out that they're not gonna carry, and there's some more left, so we grabbed, or I chose one for her, which it was actually the same day that I went to that art store and grabbed this ones. So there was an extra, or the last piece of the phthalo blue, and I recommend that she get this one instead because it's a single pigment PB15. So she grabbed that one too, and I recommend that she can replace the white with that blue instead, and there will be more colors to mix. And she was quite happy with it, and she said that the husband was so happy also because I received a message the next day, and I'm really happy to help out people. So Van Gogh, oh my goodness, you have no idea how much I recommend this palette even before this video. So yeah, I just really love this set, and I think that it would work so well with so many painters out there or art enthusiasts. This is the first palette that I am sharing on this series of videos that I will be creating with this Van Gogh Pocketbox palette. And then the next one, I will be sharing this Van Gogh from the Amsterdam Museum palette. Really nice, and that color also collectible. And I also have, which I sourced and I really researched on where I can find it because I could never find this in Sweden. And I have to buy it from Germany. This one is the Floral Pocket Box by artist influencer 𝘾𝙆𝙈. I'm not so certain how to pronounce that, but it's a very nice pink palette. And then I also bought this metallic and interference colors because I am getting into painting on dark paper or black paper, and I thought that that will be nice to have on my collection and use these paints as well. And lastly, so far, another extra palette that I have is this one, wherein a lot of the colors here I do not have yet on my collection. I'm trying to complete all of the 72 colors in total. And this is the pocket box with pinks and violets. And I showed that earlier. So as of the date, I have 5 pocket boxes, and it's quite nice that these two whites are quite different, so it's easy for me to distinguish which is which. So excited to share those videos coming up. So stay tuned and make sure that you subscribe to my YouTube channel to show your support. I would love to hear your comments also. I see that there's some people who are watching my videos but are not able to comment yet. So please, I encourage you to comment. I would love to talk with you, and I would like to know your thoughts and which videos you wanted to see in the future. Maybe some of you are like me, watching videos while painting, so your hands are not available to type your comments. But if you can, please do so. Go back to my video and just say hi. It will mean the world to me and will make me inspired to create more videos. Before I let you go, I am going to give you one last look of the palette that I have cleaned now. So it looks like this. And I already laminated the swatch card right here. And I will just put that on top of the palette and use this once when I do painting. Swatching your palette on a swatch card is always a good reference for you to know which colors you have in there. And if you have time, you can also do some color mixing. I recommend that too. And this is my finished painting. Finally get to finish it. Added a little bit more details and put a little bit depth on this painting as compared to how you saw it initially on this part of the video. So the sunflowers are now complete. Her dress have a more impact now. I just did put some dry brushing. Quite happy about this painting, and I'm thinking I should paint this on a larger canvas or a larger paper. My idea for this painting is this girl is going to travel back in time, and she have to choose which door to go to. Would it be 1888 for the door in the middle, when Van Gogh have finished this artwork entitled Vase with 12 Sunflowers? Van Gogh painted a series of pictures depicting sunflowers, having first been inspired by the yellow flowers in Paris where he saw them growing in the gardens of Montmartre. Or will she be choosing the door to the left, taking her to 1889 when Van Gogh have finished this oil-on-canvas painting, the ever-so-popular The Starry Night, that depicts the view from the east-facing window of his asylum room at Saint-Rémy-de-Provence, just before sunrise with the addition of an imaginary village. Perhaps she will choose the door to the far right, which will take her to 1890 when Vincent van Gogh have completed the painting Filled with Crows, which was known by the critics as Van Gogh's greatest work. Let me know which door this woman should choose to travel back to history and perhaps meet Vincent van Gogh. There you have it, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me on this video wherein we talked about this Van Gogh 12 plus 3 pans pocket box, shared with you this painting and all my thoughts about this palette. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell button to be notified on all of my future videos, and follow me on my social media for Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. That is at the artist Elizabeth and at Painting by Elizabeth. Stay inspired and keep on creating art. See ya!